Hi everyone! Since magpapalit ako ng mga modules and questions, sample questions, at saka yung mga presentation ko in teaching civil service exams, one of them is numerical reasoning, I'll give you an example na lang siguro on how you can solve this problem if you encounter something like this during the civil service exam. By the way, I teach all subjects, but I'll just give you one today here, numerical reasoning. So let's answer this one. Sabi dito, find the average of 6.8, 3.5, 9.2, 7.45, and 6.05. We do have choices here, and they're parang magkakalapit or similar. But how do you solve this in, shorter amount of time? For me kasi, for some people, they add them isa-isa. Pero dun sa mga hindi pa sanay or walang masyadong solid na background in arithmetic, they might get confused. So sometimes sometimes I find other ways. But for now, let's just do the manual solving. Katulad nito, 3.5, 9.2, and then we have 7.45. So the basic way to do this one is make sure that you align the decimal points and the units, tens units man siya, ones units man, or yung hundredths unit. So we have here 6.05. So you can just skip this step if you already know it. For those who are not familiar with them yet or umabsent ng mga time na nile-lecture to ng kanilang teachers, we have here the digits. We call this the ones digit. Kung meron pang kasunod in front of it, the tens digit. Ito naman, ito yung tenths. Ganito spelling, tenths. Ito naman yung sa pangalawang column. This is what we call the hundredths digit, okay? Just to avoid, I'm not sure if this is the correct spelling, pero just to avoid confusion, we need to keep this in mind, okay? Alright, so for us to be able to solve this one, so usually we align them together so that we can have a basis kung saan natin mag-start. And we start from the rightmost papunta sa left. So from here papunta, dito yung pagsosolve in any arithmetic equation. So we have 5 and 5 doon sa my hundredths place. So we have 5 and 5, that's 10. But you can only place 1. So ilalagay natin dito yung sobra, yung higher digit. So 10 siya, 1 and 0, but you place the 1 here on the next column. So 1 plus 8 plus 5. Ang ginagawa ko when I solve something like this, I group the numbers together. For example, we have here 8. Ayan, yung 8 natin and 2, they make up 10. So 8 plus 2 is equal to 10. And I also add 5. Add 5 here, this becomes 15. So it's easier for me to solve this one. And then we add the 4. But let's remember that 4, hindi pa natin na-add yung 1 sa taas. Okay? So 1, itong 1, plus 1, this one makes up 5. So if gagawin mo siyang mental math, kasi maikli lang yung papel dun sa civil service exam, and sometimes I do mental math for me to be able to make use of the little space that I have. Ayan. So 5 and 15, this makes up 20. Okay? Or 5 and 5, 10. Carry 1 ka dito. And then 1 plus 1 is 2. So 20 yan siya. Lalagay ko na naman dito. This is 0. And we have 2 naman dito. So I'm gonna have to erase the... Okay. And then we have 2 and 6 and 3. Sa akin, I usually do it like this one. I group like numbers together. Pwede rin naman ganito. Yung 6 natin, tsaka yung isa pang 6, that's 12. Plus the 2 na meron tayo sa taas. Ilalagyan ko ng mga guhit so that I can see, kung saan na yung na-add ko or saan yung i-add ko pa. So 6 and 6, that's 12. Plus 2, that's 14. I already have 14 here. 14 and, let's say, mas bet ko na ilagay yung 9 kasi mas malaki siya. 14 and 9, mas madali ring isolve. So 14 and 9, this is already 23. 23 plus 7, that's 30. So I always make sure na close siya sa tens. Ayan. And yung pinaka-last natin na hindi pa nadagdag is 3. Kasi para hindi tayo mawala when we're solving it. Kasi minsan nakakalimutan ka, na-add ko na ba to or wala? So if you want to do the basic or the manual or the traditional way of solving this, yun yung mga tips that I can add. Okay? So we have 3 and then we also have 3. So 33. So this is 33. Yan. The 0, 0. I'm gonna have to erase yung mga extra guhit natin sa gilid just for the class discussion. And then, ilang numbers ba to? So, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. When finding the average kasi, nakalimutan ko sabihin kanina, dumiretso ako sa pagsusolve. So, yan o. When solving the average of something, it needs to be the total sum. You add them all together. Kaya nga natin ito ginawa, itong first step natin. You add the total sum of the numbers. Ayan. And then you find, you find the number of terms. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 5 numbers all together to find the, kumbaga, mean natin. Okay, or average. So, ito siya. We have n at this point is equal to 5 kasi we have 5 numbers added together para i-average. So, we have 33 as the sum divided by 5. Okay, and equal to the mean or the average. 33 divided by 5, ilan ba yan siya? So, sa traditional way of solving this one, papakita ko bakit, may mas madaling step kasi, but mas madali for me. So, baka may mga katulad sa inyo na ganun ang pag-solve, show ko yun mamaya. So, you have 33 here, and 5. Ito muna yung conventional way of solving this. Now, 33, ilang 5 ba na meron sa 33? That's 6, right? And 6 times 5 is equal to 30. So, ganun yung flow usually, yung traditional division natin. So, we have 3. Always make sure that you put here yung decimal point and you remember where that is. Kasi nga, for example, ito, 3 and 5, mas malaki yung 5. Usually, sa basic math natin ng elementary, bawal yun siya. But for this point, we need to find the decimal. Okay, yung decimal part niya. So, we have to bring down yung 0. We added 0 there. So, wag muna natin lagyan ng decimal point sa baba. Wag muna natin i-bring down later na sa final solution. And ilang 30 ba meron sa 5? Katulad na nasa taas kanina, we have 6, ilang 30 meron sa 5? Ilang 5 meron sa 30? So, we have 6, 5 sa 30. Remember, the decimal point, dapat naka-align pa rin siya. And you bring it up. Tapos, dito, 5 times 6, yung 5 natin dito sa taas. And then, yung 6, i-multiply mo sila. This will become, 0. You minus. You deduct that one. And, okay, balik ko lang. Alright. So, we have here 6.6. Now, that is how you can solve this the traditional way. Konti lang naman siya, pero meron kasi yung sa dito, sa pag-add mo, sometimes, na-delete pala. Sa pag-add mo dito sometimes, na naku-confuse ka, and nagkakamali ka sa pag-solve. Okay lang to kapag you have a solid foundation on adding numbers. That's okay, definitely okay if you are comfortable with this way of solving it. But for me kasi, ito kasi maliit lang na number. So, paano naman kapag medyo malalaking number? I use a method of averaging na pwede siya for bigger numbers. Basta, meron lang siyang base or reference number. Yung sinasabi nating base or reference number, nakukuha mo yan siya sometimes sa choices. Or, yung mga numbers na malapit sa choices. So, itong gagamitin kong reference number, hanapin ko muna dito. So, 6, 6.6, 66, and 660. Ang numbers natin, ang pinakamalaking digit is, number is 9.2. So, hindi pwede na mas malaki pa yung average kaysa sa pinakamalaking number natin sa set. Okay? Sa numbers na i-average natin. So, hindi pwede yon. Dapat, either ang average natin is from the lowest, ayan, 3.5. Ito yung average natin, to the highest number, 9.2. Diyan lang yung range ng possible answers natin. Okay? So, with this one, wala na yung, yung 66 and 660. So, ito siya, mali na yan siya. So, stick tayo dito sa dalawa. We have 6 or 6.6. Now, mas madaling mag-solve kasi sa method na gagamitin ko kapag ones na number siya or tens siya, hindi siya per decimal. So, ang gagawin ko dito is gagamitin ko itong A muna. Hindi pa tayo sure if that's the answer, pero kung yan man yung answer ay hindi, at least mag-a-add na lang tayo ng rest. Okay? So, we have here 6 yung number ko. I have to remember this one, or 6.0. Tapos, ilalagay ko dito yung mga number sa taas. Okay? So, we have 6.8. Kakasyahin ko. 3.5. 9.2. 7.45. And 6.05. Medyo hindi na siya kasya dun sa gilid. Anyway, so 6.8. Ima-minus ko yung 6 natin sa 6.8 if mas malaki yung nasa taas. Magkakaroon tayo ng positive na difference. So, 6.8 minus 6. Lagyan ko siguro ng ibang kulay. Red na lang para makita. Okay. 6.8 minus 6. This becomes 0.8 na lang. So, ang natira is 0.8 na lang, right? Pero paano kapag mas maliit yung number? Iba-minus ko, pabaliktad naman. So, we will have to deduct yung 6.0 sa 3.5. Okay? Again, 6.0 sa 3.5. This will become 10, yung 0, but it will become 5, itong, ayan, yung 6. Okay? So, we need to make sure kasi na mas malaki yung nasa taas if we're gonna have to subtract. So, 10 minus 5, mas madali lang siyang i-subtract, diba? This will become 5, and 5 minus 3 is 2, so 2.5. Ayan. You'll understand this one later on, so patience muna. Okay? I'm gonna have to explain the method I use kasi if nasanay kayo dito, yung mga problem, you don't need to go through the conventional way of adding things and mas matagal mo siya actually in the long run. So, this one, you have to get used to this. This needs getting used to, but this is easier if you memorize it. Okay? So, not memorize, but, familiarize, get used to it, etc. 9.2 minus 6 is 3.2. Kaya nga sinabi kong yung mga ones digit, kung 1 ang pinakamataas, or tens digits, kung nasa tens or hundreds digits ang numbers natin. Okay? So, we have 7.45 minus 6. Again, this is 0.45. Tapos yung 1 dito. And we have the next one. Ito naman siya, be careful with the 0.5. Okay, 0.5. Ito yung mga sobra. Ang 3.5 pala, kasi nga mas malaki yung 6, yung minus mo, this will become negative. Okay, lagyan ko lang ng parenthesis para separate siya. So, we have 0.8 as the first number. We have 2.5, negative 2.5, 3.1, 1.45, and 0.05. So, mangyayari dito is, ikalawang method na natin to ha. Mangyayari dito is, ito yung tinatawag nating excess. Okay? If ang sum ng ating excess is maliit or malaki, ibig sabihin, hindi ito yung sagot. Okay? So, at this point, alam natin na isa lang naman yung negative number. Isa lang yung i-minus natin. So, definitely, yung sagot natin is not 6. Ito na yung sagot natin. Pero, let's try to prove that one. Okay? Prove muna natin. So, for example, katulad nito. I will have to add all the positive numbers. So, I will be adding this, and this. Mas malaki yan siya kasi sa negative 2.5. Pero, sige na lang, i-add na lang natin. So, I add first the 0.8 and 3.2. That makes 4. And 1.45 tsaka 0.05. This makes 1.5. See where I'm going with this? So, 4 and 1.5, I will add them together. This is how I add, by the way, 5.5. Kasi naman i-add mo sila isa-isa. Okay? This is how I usually add. Now, 5.5, ito pa lang yung positive numbers, ha? Meron pa tayong negative. So, we have to deduct the negative. This becomes negative 2.5. 5 minus 5, this is 0. And then, 5 minus 2, this is 3. Now, 3, yung excess natin, total excess. Yung 3 natin, i-average yan natin. Okay, again, yung 3 natin, we have to average that one to get kung ano yung kulang natin. Okay, so yung 3, solve natin. May alarm. Okay, yung 3.0 or 30 divided by 5. This is, yung kanina, sabi nga natin, 30, meron ilang 5 sa 30, we have 0.6. Okay? So, the answer is 0.6 plus, ito, baba mo yan siya, 6.0. The answer is 6.6. Now, sabi ko kanina, if makikita nyo na mas malaki na kasi itong 3.2 kaysa sa negative number mo, and this is a positive number. Therefore, wala na siyang weight for it to be 0. Para maging ganito yung answer mo, dapat yung sum, yung total ng lahat ng excess mo, itong lahat na nakapula, dark red dito, should be equal to 0 pag i-add mo siya together. Okay? That's how I usually do stuff. I think I'll have to teach you a related problem siguro, pero sa next na siya. Okay? So, you can use this to find the average of numbers, especially if medyo complicated tingnan or masakit sa ulo tingnan, para mas madali siyang tingnan. Okay? Kasi math is just a perspective game. Okay? Kung mahirap siya para sa'yo, it's actually blocking you in trying to solve it. So, hindi mo siya masosolve kasi nga, iniisip mo pa lang na mahirap siya. So, that's how math works. Anyway, so, this is one of the many techniques that we can use in solving the problem. Hopefully, you get something from it. And, by the way, if you wanna go inside the class where I teach all of these, lahat siya na subject actually, numerical reasoning, verbal reasoning. Yeah, I teach verbal reasoning for several review centers, and I also teach all of the subjects in civil service, kasali yung Philippine Constitution, peace and human rights, yung mga environmental science concepts natin, laws in the Philippines, aside from the Philippine Constitution, marami pa kasi, and yung mga general information or trivia, I also teach them in the class, as well as analytical reasoning, yung mga puzzles, yung mga syllogisms, yung mga patterns, etc. So, I also teach them in class, actually lahat ng subjects in civil service exams. So, if you want to learn how to make things easy to remember para sa'yo or sa mathematical equation, make it easy for you to solve, then you can join in the class. Okay? I offer lifetime membership, and I think I will only offer yung lowest price possible this week, and maybe next week I will not be able to do so. Okay? I'll give an announcement on that one, but see you on the next problems we're gonna solve. Bye bye.